I thought XLM was dead. Then this happened. The moment that changed everything. Everyone thought XLM was done, dead in the water, just another ghost of the 2017 altcoin era that had its run, then faded into the background. No hype, no moonshots, just slow bleeding price action and silence. But then, out of nowhere, something shifted. Not a loud headline, not a random tweet, a quiet move, a strategic pivot. And suddenly, Stellar wasn't just a relic from crypto's past, it was rewriting its future. Because while most of the market was distracted by meme coins, AI tokens, and layer 2 hype, XLM was doing something different. It was building. And now, the tide is turning. Smart contracts have officially gone live on Stellar with Soroban. Real-world finance is entering the chain through institutional DeFi. And companies like Palago Labs are shipping on-chain products that actually solve real business problems. Invoice financing, trade liquidity, cross-border transactions, all on the Stellar network. This isn't about narratives. This is about infrastructure, adoption, long-term, global-scale solutions, and what's even crazier, most investors still haven't caught on. The same people who said XLM is finished are going to be the ones scrambling to get in when it's already 3xe. Because what's happening under the hood right now is the foundation for one of the biggest comeback arcs in crypto history. So in this video, we're breaking it all down. The exact moment Stellar flipped the script, the rollout of Soroban smart contracts and what that unlocks for DeFi, how Palago Labs is pushing XLM into real-world trade finance, and the on-chain metrics that could signal an incoming breakout that no one is pricing in yet. This isn't financial advice, it's a wake-up call. If you're holding XLM, thinking about getting in, or just want to understand why everyone's suddenly whispering about Stellar again, keep watching, because what's happening right now, it's not just a pump, it's a resurrection. Let's get into it. The decline, why everyone counted XLM out. Let's take it back. Late 2023 into early 2024, the market was heating up. Bitcoin started ripping past $40,000. Ethereum flipped bullish. Solana made a full-blown comeback. Meme coins were running wild, and AI tokens exploding overnight. Altcoins across the board were putting in monster gains, 2x, 5x, even 10x in a matter of weeks. But one project was stuck, flatlined. XLM. While everything else was making headlines, Stellar barely moved. Traders ignored it. YouTubers stopped covering it. Even longtime holders started getting that sinking feeling. Did I back the wrong project? Volume dropped off a cliff. Social media mentions? Dead silent. And for a while, it looked like Stellar had been left behind. To be fair, there wasn't much to get excited about on the surface. No flashy NFT drops, no DeFi summer vibes, no big-name VCs hyping up the ecosystem. Stellar's development updates? Subtle, technical, quiet. And in a market that feeds on dopamine, silence gets mistaken for irrelevance. People started calling XLM a ghost chain, an old-gen relic. The other Ripple, with no utility. And for a moment, it was hard to argue. The sentiment was brutal. Every dip felt heavier. Every minor pump got sold off instantly. Even die-hard supporters were starting to second-guess everything. But what no one realized at the time was this. Stellar wasn't chasing headlines. They were laying tracks. While the rest of crypto was trying to go viral, Stellar was focused on infrastructure, regulatory alignment, enterprise-grade partnerships, a next-gen smart contract platform that could scale securely without breaking the network. They weren't pivoting to hype trends. They were doubling down on real-world use cases. And yeah, it was boring. But boring builds the future. Because while everyone was looking at the shiny stuff, Stellar was quietly preparing one of the most strategic rollouts in the space. The question now? Was the silence just the calm before the storm? In the next section, we're looking at exactly what Stellar was building in the background and how it could completely flip the narrative around XLM. Stay locked in. Before we dive into what changed the game, if you're serious about staying ahead of these real-world crypto shifts, make sure you're subscribed to be crypto smart. Hit that bell, because we're tracking the plays most investors won't see coming. The turning point, enter Soroban and Palago Labs. Here's where the story shifts. Right when the market had counted Stellar out, something huge happened quietly. Without the hype cycle, without the headlines. Stellar rolled out Soroban. And no, this wasn't just a fork of Solidity or another plug-and-play smart contract copycat. Soroban was built from the ground up, purpose-built, lean, powerful, and most importantly, designed to bring smart contract functionality to Stellar without sacrifice. Its core mission of speed, security, and scalability. It runs in WebAssembly, it's dev-friendly, and it's designed for one thing, unlocking real-world use cases in a way that Ethereum just can't match at scale. But let's be honest, at first barely anyone noticed. The average investor didn't care. Influencers didn't talk about it. The price didn't move. Because to the average eye, Soroban was just another smart contract platform. But that all changed when Palago Labs stepped in. And here's where it gets interesting. Palago Labs isn't some hype-based DeFi protocol trying to farm attention. They're not launching yield farms with cartoon mascots or pump-and-dump governance tokens. They're building real infrastructure for trade finance, the $10 trillion global market that underpins how goods move across borders. Invoices, inventory, payments, logistics, all of it brought on-chain. And the platform they chose to build it on? Not Ethereum, not Solana, not Avalanche, Stellar. Why? Because Stellar's architecture is perfect for this kind of application. Low cost, fast settlement, and now, thanks to Soroban, programmable smart contracts that can actually interface with real-world business logic. Palago is using Soroban to create programmable, tokenized representations of invoices and receivables. Imagine factoring a $50,000 invoice to a logistics company instantly with on-chain collateral. Imagine automated payment triggers for global shipments based on verified real-world events. This isn't just DeFi. This is industrial-grade DeFi. And that's when the market started waking up. Because when you've got a legacy blockchain like Stellar, quiet, battle-tested, suddenly enabling real institutional use cases that actually generate revenue and solve multi-billion-dollar problems, that's when sentiment shifts. That's when the money starts circling back. And that's when people realize XLM wasn't dead, it was loading. In the next section, we're going to look at what Soroban and Palago mean for adoption, and why big players in both crypto and TradFi are now circling the Stellar ecosystem again. Let's keep going. Why this matters, real DeFi for real markets. Let's get something straight. Most DeFi protocols out there, they're not built for real businesses. They're built for degens, fast trades, yield farming, and speculative flipping. But what Stellar is building right now, it's not just for traders. It's for institutions, enterprises, real-world markets. This is where Stellar flips the DeFi narrative on its head. Because while most protocols are still chasing TVL and throwing incentives at liquidity pools, Palago Labs is using Stellar to move actual capital to actual businesses, not meme tokens, not NFTs, invoices, goods, trade routes. Palago's model leverages the best of blockchain, on-chain assets, programmable smart contracts, tokenization, but anchors it in real-world demand, businesses that need cash flow, a small manufacturer in Asia waiting 90 days to get paid on a global shipment. With Palago's infrastructure on Stellar, they can tokenize that invoice and access liquidity within minutes. That's not just innovation, that's disruption at the enterprise level. And here's where it ties back to Stellar's original DNA. Remember, Stellar was designed for cross-border payments. It's always been about moving money efficiently between entities, especially across borders, between currencies, through regulated corridors. Now it's evolving. With Soroban and Palago, that mission is expanding from send money fast to build programmable financial rails for the global economy. This is programmable finance for the real world. Institutional DeFi, tokenized working capital, compliant liquidity corridors, on-chain infrastructure that doesn't just serve crypto, it serves commerce. And here's the kicker. When institutions are finally ready to plug into DeFi, and that wave is already coming, they're not going to want the wild, chaotic, yield-chasing protocols that dominated the last cycle. They're going to want scalable, regulated, compliant blockchains with real-world use cases already running. They're going to want proven infrastructure. And Stellar checks every box. It's fast, it's cheap, it's stable, it has anchors, it's integrated with MoneyGram, it's onboarding fintechs. And now with Soroban, it's programmable. That's a complete financial stack. And there are very few blockchains in the world that can say that with a straight face. So the next time someone tells you Stellar isn't innovating, show them this. Stellar isn't chasing hype. It's building infrastructure, and the institutions are starting to notice. Up next, we're going deeper into what this resurgence means for XLM's actual price action, and why things might be just getting started. Let's break it down. If you're starting to see how deep this goes, don't just watch, engage. Drop a comment right now. Did you think Stellar was dead? What surprised you most about this resurgence? Let's talk. Metrics don't lie, what the data is showing. Let's get into the cold, hard facts, the data that doesn't lie. If you're not paying attention to the numbers on Stellar, you're missing a key signal of what's really happening under the surface. First off, network activity on Stellar has seen a massive surge. And we're not just talking about a bump in transactions. The real standout here is on-chain contract interactions, which have skyrocketed since Soroban's launch. This is key because smart contract usage is a direct indicator of network utility and ecosystem engagement. The fact that these contract calls are up shows that developers, enterprises, and users are actively building, testing, and deploying new solutions. This is the kind of momentum that drives long-term growth, not just speculative hype. On top of that, wallet growth is steadily ticking higher. Now, we've seen some network growth before, but this is different. This isn't just retail wallets getting in on the action. This is broader adoption, including institutions and more serious players. As the ecosystem grows, so does the trust in Stellar as a long-term infrastructure play. Then we look at DeFi. Total value locked, TVL, on Stellar's DeFi protocols? Sure, it's still small when compared to the giants in the space, but here's the thing. It's rising steadily, and that growth curve is crucial. We're seeing incremental yet consistent increases in liquidity as more decentralized applications, dApps, start taking advantage of Stellar's efficient transaction speed and cost effectiveness. DeFi isn't built overnight, but these signs of growth are exactly what we want to see. And it's still early enough that the upside potential is massive. But the real kicker? Institutional wallet activity. This is where things start to get exciting. If you've been paying attention, you'll notice something significant. Larger average transaction sizes. We're not just talking about the retail crowd playing around with small transactions. We're seeing institutional players step in with serious capital. There's sustained token holding behavior too, which is important because it signals confidence and a long-term view. And get this, fewer sell-offs compared to other mid-cap altcoins. This is exactly the kind of behavior you expect from players who see real value in the network. It's accumulation, plain and simple. And with institutions clearly starting to build their positions, it's clear they're betting on Stellar's infrastructure becoming increasingly relevant in the coming years. This isn't just retail speculation. This is belief in the long-term growth of the network. Price hasn't fully reflected all of this yet. We're not seeing the kind of explosive price movements that some might expect given this rising institutional interest in network activity. But that's exactly why now is the time to pay attention. The underlying structure is being built. The foundation is being laid. And when that momentum flips into hype, when the broader market catches on to what's happening here, the charts will look very different. We won't be looking at these price levels for long. Section 5. The price setup. XLM's comeback pattern. Here's the chart setup right now. XLM is trading near 22 cents after a 65% drop from its 2024 high. But technical analysts are watching this closely. Why? Because it's forming a descending wedge, historically one of the most reliable breakout patterns in crypto. Volume is compressing, support is holding, MACD is curling upward, RSI is nearing bullish territory. If XLM breaks out above resistance, we could see moves toward 30 cents, 37 cents, and even 42 cents in the near term. And if institutional flows continue, don't be surprised if this is just the beginning. Real alpha is spotting narratives before the crowd. So if you're watching this in real time, you've got an edge. Make sure you're subbed to Be Crypto Smart so you don't miss our price updates, institutional flow tracking, and breakout alerts. Why XLM's mission still matters. At the end of the day, Stellar isn't just about chasing token prices or the latest trend. That's not what this network was built for, and it's not where the real value lies. Stellar's mission has always been crystal clear: financial access for all. That's the true north. Stellar isn't out here trying to be the next hot coin for a quick flip. It's about creating financial infrastructure that actually works, especially in emerging markets. Places where access to financial services is often limited or out of reach for the majority of the population. And let's not forget, it's not just about the tech. Stellar's been focused on real-world partnerships, real compliance, and real use cases from day one. They're in it for the long haul, with a vision that goes beyond speculation and into genuine global impact. And now, as the entire crypto space is gearing up for regulation, tokenized finance, and institutional-grade systems, Stellar is perfectly positioned. Why? Because Stellar's mission has always aligned with those trends. While some projects were focusing on chasing short-term hype, Stellar was quietly evolving, building an ecosystem that's ready for the world that's emerging. Think about it. As more governments and financial institutions get involved, regulation and compliance become the main pillars that will support the next phase of crypto growth. Stellar has been working hand in hand with regulators and real-world financial institutions to ensure that it's not just another speculative asset, but a legitimate tool for financial inclusion. Whether it's cross-border payments, remittances, or decentralized finance, Stellar is laying the groundwork for a system that can scale, be trusted, and integrate seamlessly into traditional financial ecosystems. Now, while many were sleeping on the Stellar, it was busy evolving, from a remittance chain designed to facilitate cross-border payments to a fully developed next-gen financial layer. This is where it's no longer about a project trying to gain traction. It's about a network that's building an entirely new financial infrastructure with real use cases, real demand, and real partnerships that will pay off in the years to come. So, as the world continues to shift, the question now becomes, are you watching closely enough to catch what's coming next? Because if you aren't paying attention, you're going to miss it. Stellar isn't just evolving, it's on the verge of redefining how finance works at a global scale. And when that moment comes, you'll want to say, you saw it coming. Don't miss the comeback. There's no denying it. Everyone thought Stellar was done. For a while, the narrative was clear. Stellar had been overshadowed by the likes of Ethereum and newer DeFi projects, and many believed it would fade into the background. But if you've been paying attention, you already know that story is far from over. With Soroban now live, powering the next generation of smart contracts, and Palago Labs pushing the boundaries of real-world DeFi solutions, Stellar is quietly setting the stage for something massive. Let's be real, this is no longer the same project it used to be. What was once seen as a remittance chain is now evolving into a full-fledged financial ecosystem, complete with DeFi applications, tokenized assets, and increasing institutional interest. The players are making moves, and all the pieces are aligning. And here's the kicker. XLM's comeback could be the most underestimated play in all of crypto right now. While the rest of the market chases the latest trends, Stellar is steadily building, making quiet strides toward becoming a core piece of the next generation of finance. The setup is here. The technology is in place. The use cases are real. The players are in position. Now the breakout? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We've seen this before in crypto, when the markets ignore a project until it's too late. Don't let that be you. If you're riding with us on this journey, do the smart thing. Subscribe to Be Crypto Smart, turn on notifications, and stay locked in. This isn't just about watching a market trend. This is about being ahead of the curve on one of the most exciting comebacks in crypto. Because when that breakout happens and XLM surges into the spotlight, trust me, you won't want to be left on the sidelines. The next big move in XLM could hit faster than anyone expects. And when it does, you'll want to be ready.